Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Jerusalem's Gate. I know I put out a few videos yesterday, and if I could recommend you going back and watching those, I think you'll find them quite interesting, the biblical prophecy and how it relates to what's going on. I think that you'll have a better understanding what the old prophets and the gospel tells us about these days. I want to go over some news with you. Coming out, both articles coming out of Reuters. I like using Reuters because they're a reliable source. Title reads, U.S. envoy to UN says Syria used chemical weapons 50 times. My goodness, if they used it 50 times, they're going to use it 51 times if it's them. Let's read a little of the article. United Nations, Reuters, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley said on Friday that Washington estimates that Syrian President Bashar Assad's forces have used chemical weapons at least 50 times during the 7-year-long conflict. And there's the two ambassadors, Russian ambassador to the UN and our very own Nikki Haley, ambassador to the UN, U.S. ambassador to the UN. And they're talking, and that's good. They should be conversing and talking and having dialogue. That should always be, you know. I was taught, and I'm not saying I'm smart or anything like that or some know-it-all, but I had a very wise father. Wasn't perfect, but he was wise. They told me a couple of things. He told me, cooler heads prevail, and don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing. And if I can give any advice in this situation for my dear country, the United States of America, I would say that. Now, I'm going to say something after I go over this next article. Okay, the next article is just coming out. Well, it came out yesterday, I'm sorry. Threat of U.S.-Russia clash hangs over Syria. It all is all going to boil down to Syria and what Russia's going to do to. And he's stating Putin's stating that he's going to protect Syria. Now, I'm going to tell you something that I have never told to many people, but I have the written documentation of it. Many years ago, I was praying and writing down my memoirs and gathering my memoirs for a possible book. And the Lord revealed to me. Now, this is before Russia ever entered into the East in an open way, like they are now. The Holy Spirit revealed to me that Russia is going to try to regain lost superpower glory, and to do that, Russia knows that they have to make a power appearance in the East. And that's before that's before the Syria thing ever happened. That's before Russia entered into the East. That's before everything. So help me God, I'm telling you the truth. And I think it was time for me to say that. But it should boil down to Syria. Let's read a little of the article. Beirut, Reuters. The prospect of Western military action in Syria that could lead to confrontation with Russia hung over the Middle East on Friday, but there was no clear sign that a U.S.-led attack was imminent. So, that's... I think I personally think that you shouldn't say that you're going to attack. I think if you're going to do it, you just do it. Don't telegraph it. That goes back to this saying, don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing. Okay, let's get into this video. Let me play it for you right now.
How do we keep this from escalating out of control?
Defense Secretary James Madison on Thursday worked to calm global fears of a direct military clash between the U.S. and Russia over Syria.
We have not yet made any decision to launch military attacks into Syria.
Those remarks to a House panel contradicting President Trump, who Wednesday told Russia U.S. missiles, quote, will be coming in response to last weekend's suspected chemical attack in Syria. This after Russia said U.S. missiles aimed at close ally Syria would be shot down.
We'll see what happens. We're obviously looking at that very closely.
On Thursday, Trump took a half step back, saying U.S. action may not be soon. Yara Bayumi is on the story.
Trump has met with his national security team and and White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said that no final decision has yet been made, that the United States is still assessing all of the evidence, and that they're still coordinating with allies on the response.
The risks on all sides remained high. Russia, Syria's staunch ally, has military equipment and forces arrayed throughout much of Syria, which could be hit by a U.S. strike. Media reports say Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has tried to shelter his own jets by moving them to hangars alongside Russian aircraft. The U.S. has its own Navy forces in the area, including the missile-firing destroyer Donald Cook.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I was talking about? This, if you review the videos of yesterday that I put out and last night, the Bible, the old prophet says that in regards to Damascus, the seas are troubled and it can't be quieted. And the Navy on all sides are on the water and they can't be quieted. With that being said, you're watching and listening to another broadcast of Jerusalem's Gate. God bless you. Shalom. We love you all.